Baal Koreh is instructed when reading the Tochacha to make his voice somewhat inaudible. It's done on a very low note because when we mention and invoke all the terrible plagues and illnesses that will befall the Jewish people for not following in the ways of Hashem, we don't want to publicize it. We keep it as quiet as possible, as muted as possible, in the hopes that these atrocities, these punishments will never befall the Jewish people. But yet there is one part in the Tochacha towards the end where we change notes, that all of a sudden we go where the Baal Koreh is somewhat muted, and then he goes back to his regular tune, regular voice, and then back quiet again. And that is when he reads the pasuk, Va'af es brisi, or I remember the covenant of Yaakov, Va'af es brisi Yitzchak, Va'af es brisi Avram es kor, ve'aretz es kor. I'll remember the covenant of Yaakov, of Yitzchak, and Avraham. Why is that done in a different sound, a different pitch, more like the regular pitch? So the traditional understanding is that despite the fact that we have lost our way and HaKadosh Baruch Hu is unhappy and we're struggling, nevertheless, God will never forget us forever, because he will remember the covenant between Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, and he'll say, you know what, enough is enough. Even if they sin, they're still Jews. I love them, and this is not going to last forever. It may befall the Jewish people, but only temporarily. And therefore the Baal Koreh raises his voice at that pasuk as a sign of nechama, as a sign of consoling the Jewish people that it's okay, we will get past this, and things will get better again. However, the Shla famously writes that this is incorrect, that when the Baal Koreh gets to that pasuk of remembering the covenant of Yaakov and Yitzchak and Avram, his voice should remain muted. It should remain low and dimmed, just like the rest of the psukim. Why? Because says the Shla, it's actually another line of Musar. It's a rebuke for the Jewish people. Says HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I'm going to remember the covenant I made with Yaakov, with Yitzchak and Avram, and I'm going to say, wait a second, what happened to his children? What happened to their descendants? Why are they not following the path of their grandparents and great-grandparents? And there's no answer. And because you're not following their way, the punishments will continue. I think the message from the Shalah is really important for each and every one of us. We have a responsibility to carry on the legacies of all those that came before us. Certainly we have big shoes to fill, but this is our responsibility. So often in life, the next generation always wants to change from the way that the previous generation did things. It's going to be better this way, more efficient this way. I like it. This is the new style. You're out of touch. But if there isn't a basic respect and honor accorded to all those who came before us, we'll never be able to keep that chain of continuity being passed down from one generation to the next. And guess what? Because when it comes to your generation, the next generation is going to say the same thing about you. The key for us, says the Shla, is to remember the path that has already been traveled by those that came before us, to honor them, respect them, to follow their ways. Yes, if you want to make a couple changes here and there, that's fine. But if there's so long as there is a basic respect and appreciation for the road that they traveled, that will enable us to ensure that every time the Baal Koreh gets to that pasuk, it will not be done in a muted tone. It'll be done with the loudest voice possible, because we too remembered Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov, just like HaKadosh Baruch Hu remembers them each and every day. Have a wonderful Shabbos.